Hello, this is Dustin with Pro AV School, and in this video I'm going to show you how to program using Crestron two intersystem control programs, essentially talking from one to another. Now they're going to be on the same processor, and I'm actually using an RMC3. So just a quick note that the RMC3 typically only has one program. There's an upgrade key that you need to purchase to enable multiple programs. My processor has that. So most RMC3s do not, but most of the other 3 series processors do. So the way that I'm going to demonstrate this is with this X panel here. And the top section here is stuff that's going to be dealt with in program 1. And the bottom stuff here is dealt with in program 2. So essentially we're going to use this video switching widget and drag source this onto here. And it's going to update here in here, and the feedback will come back to tell it what it should show. I've turned off local drop mode. That's something that you can do as a smart graphics property in the video switching widget. Just trying to find where it is here. Local drop mode. So without feedback it will not show what's routed. That's what we want for this demo. The other thing that I'm doing is this notify button. I just wanted another quick demonstration. So when you press this on this side, I'm going to program it so it talks back to the other program and has this little red LED type indicator flash. And then when you press on this, it will cancel that. So let's go ahead and see how we put this together in Simple. One of the easiest ways that I've found to lay out multiple systems is to have a lot of monitors, basically, so you can move stuff around. I just moved this to my other monitor that you can't see, but then also have the ability to put the two programs side by side in some cases. Just makes it easier to follow everything. So really the main thing that you need to have to go from one program to the other and back again is this 3 series TCP/IP Ethernet intersystem communication symbol. And I'm not sure where it is on the left. Typically what I do, and it's probably under here. Yeah, it's there, 3 series. So you could drag it on like that, but usually what I do with anything, I'll just double click on a spare slot, and then you can search. So I just type in 3, and it will find this one, and I can just drop it in. I'm not going to use that. So in both sides, the IP ID has to be the same. And then you want the address of the other processor, if it's a different processor, or a slight modification of what the loopback address is. And that's 127.0.0.2. Now that's special. That's also on both sides. They both loop back to 2, and since they're the same IP ID, this will have them connect together. Now if you've got multiple programs running, you need to make sure that you pick something that's not used already, otherwise you're going to have problems. So the other thing that I've done here is I just have a small TSW 760 symbol on the one program. So you can think of program 1 in this example as sort of the touch panel control program, and program 2 as sort of the device control. Now you could go ahead and connect that to an actual switcher to do the switching. The other thing I should note is there's a program header, and you can give a program tag, or you have to do a 3 series program. In this case I've called it prog1 and prog2 just for simplicity. They could technically be the same name and it wouldn't matter. That will only get you into trouble if you're doing some special stuff with NVRAM and storing things under the program name. In most cases you want to have a unique name if at all possible. So that's the basic setup. Then I'll just show you. I actually did this video about 2 or 3 times before I realized that the F9 key for search and replace pauses my video with my recording software. So this is about the 3rd attempt here to get this video out, so I've already got quite a bit of stuff patched in here already. So I've populated my joins from my panel. Basically everything from this program I've prefixed it with prog1, and stuff that deals with prog2 has that prefix as well. And I just screwed up my display here. Okay, we're back. So basically the signals that I've got, this is a smart graphics object, and that's dealt with here. Prog1, screen 1 source selection, screen 2 source selection. Do it like this so you can see it. Here's kind of the problem with making things small, is it's really hard to see if you've got sort of verbose and descriptive names. But you can always see it at the bottom, so I'm just having trouble kind of pointing it out to you in the video, but it always shows up at the bottom, so I find it not too bad. And you can always F3 and F2 to see where things actually go. So I work in this sort of half able to see things environment quite a bit, and I rarely make mistakes doing that stuff. So basically these are just, they're not fed out. It's the panel. These ones here are coming from prog 2 or current source screen 01. Oh no, these are, let me see, yeah, those should probably be prog 2, I think. I'm just going to keep the naming the way I've got it. And basically, oh yeah, another thing I found is these intersystem symbols basically look like a touch panel. You can switch between digital, analog, and stereo. I just discovered this in the last 6 months with Alt-A, Alt-S, Alt-D for digital, analog, stereo. Kind of saves you time a little bit here and there. And anytime you can save time, it makes things kind of run smoother. That's why I use a lot of the keyboard shortcuts and stuff whenever I can. So basically, we're feeding signals in here from the video switching widget, and it goes into this intersystem and it comes out over here. So there's no way to indicate where it starts and where it stops. You got to kind of follow the rolling ball and make sure you know that what you've got going in here is coming out on this side. That's probably the trickiest part. And what's coming out here is basically feedback from the other system. So these are going in here, they're coming out here, and what I've set up in this program just to simulate is an analog buffer. And I've got a signal here that we'll use in debugger that we can actually turn off the buffer so that we can see the source not changing, just to demonstrate that it's actually coming from this program. So on the other side of the buffer, I've got a feedback source. That's another way to see the name, I guess, if you have to it. And that goes into here and comes out here. So that then goes back to the widget. So on here, it'll indicate what's selected there. And the way that I did this in the second program is a little bit strange, just in terms of how I'm laying things out. But I'll take, let's see, I can't, the way that I did this, I can't actually display exactly what's happening in the second program back to the touch panel any differently than this, so it's not really the best representation. We'll just say that this is being processed on this program. I didn't really think that through. I apologize. But I'm too far in now to change it. I just want to get this demonstration done and out to you guys. Somebody actually requested that I do an intersystem demo for them. So you've got the plumbing for the analog, and as long as we do the buffer, enable it in this side, it'll pass it back. Now we need to look at what we want to do for the notify feature, which is probably a little bit more interesting. Oh yeah, also I'll take these feedbacks here, because I don't think these are going anywhere. Yeah, I'll just take these feedbacks and push them there. So I guess it's fair. It is coming from the other program before it hits the panel anyways. So let's see, in the originating program, prog1, the digital, actually no, sorry, it's coming from the second program. So the notify needs to go to the second program directly, and second program comes back and says that notify is set. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So notify needs to run right into here. And the other thing that I didn't mention when I was doing the analogs is the link between this one and this one is join number. So digital 1 here comes out digital 1. Digital 26 would come out digital 26. Same for analogs and serials. So that's how they all correlate. And you can pretty much make up whatever scheme you want. You just got to make sure that you do the same thing on both sides. So let's drive notify into 10. And I'm just going to copy this. This is how I usually do things. Copy it and paste it on this side, just so I know that it's kind of the same signal. Sometimes I'll name it differently. But here I'll just have my set reset latch for notify. So notify will set it, and dismiss also needs to go in. So really what I could have done, I suppose, and maybe I should, it doesn't have to match the touch panel, but sometimes if you can match the touch panel join indexing, it can save you a lot of pain, because you don't have to keep track of a bunch of numbers. You could look at join 6 and say, okay, in this program it's essentially join 6. So that's one kind of cool way that I use that sometimes with cross points too. Again, it's completely optional. So the dismiss here, I'm going to have a condition actually. No, that's not true. I'll just have it dismiss. Now I'll have notify.feedback, and this has to drive back. I'll just use digital 1. Drives back to the other program. We've got this notify feedback. And what I did here, it's a little weird, a little unconventional, but it's one of the cool things you can do with smart graphics. Is everything has a visibility join and also a press. So if you set control feedback, I probably don't need control feedback for that feature, but either way, the visibility join is, does it show or does it not even there? So that's 1, and the press is 7. So 1, yeah, I'm going to take off show control feedback because that's not relevant. So 1 here on this panel is driven by the notify that's coming from the set reset in the other program. Now the blinky part of the light, all we need to do is run that with an oscillator. That's actually really easy to do. So I have this notify feedback, and here I'll call it notify.feedback.oscillator, and that should be the visibility join of 1. Okay, so I did this wrong. The oscillator will actually drive the panel. So that basically just makes it blink. And 6, the 6 is showing the depressed state of this button, which has show control feedback enabled. So 6 will just be actually this. And then you press the button here, you press 7, push 7. Here, that's 7 is the press. And 7 will go through and dismiss it. Now if it's off when it's blinking, because it's going on, off, you probably won't be able to press it. So probably not the best example, because I would probably do like a transparent button over top of it. But for this example, I think this will be fine. You just have to hit it in the 1 second that it's actually live to kill it. And this is pretty much all I need to do. So let's go through and compile both of these programs. And there's scripting and stuff that you could do so that you could load them simultaneously or concurrently, I guess. In this case, we're not going to do that. So I'm going to just go down to this part of the program here, program 1. Press kind of the play button there. I think it's just trying to connect to see what's actually there right now. Either that or my network's having problems. So I'm not sure. I actually didn't reestablish the connection here. Let's try this again. Okay, I just paused it for a second here. It's coming up. Basically, I put my computer to sleep and didn't reconnect in Toolbox. It's kind of strange how it came up here. What I'm going to do actually, because Toolbox I think is a little bit confused. I'm just going to go System Info and reconnect here to my processor. This should work. Yeah, it actually just failed out. There we go. Just got a little bit confused. The sleep thing. Okay. So we are in Intersystem demo. I'm going to put prog1 in slot 1. Overwrite the IP table. Then I'm going to go down and put prog2 in slot 2. And once this starts up, we'll see that the Intersystem actually will go online once the program is running. And while that's doing that, I'm just going to recompile my panel file here. And then this one I'm just going to run as, point it to my processor. And we've got it connected there. Now if these don't update themselves, you actually have to refresh them. And we see online for 10. And if I expand this out for program 2, we'll see that this one's online as well. So that's the two programs talking between each other. So right off the bat, I should be able to go through and see my notify feature working. And that's doing what I thought it would do. So this is coming from program 1, the request is going out, it's held by a set reset in program 2, coming back, and I think we put the oscillator, yeah, in program 1. So if we press this when it's red, it kills the notify. So this is notifying between two programs. And notify means nothing, it's just a digital signal, but I just wanted to show how it would go between. Now if I do this, it won't do anything because we turned off local drop mode and I haven't actually gone through and enabled that buffer yet. So to do that, I need to connect with debugger, and this is where it asks you what program you want to connect to. So I'm going to connect to program 2, and basically I have this pass. So the minute I enable that, you see now it's passing back the sources. So these source changes are being generated in program 1, and coming through into program 2, getting buffered and sent back to program 1, and that's what's showing the feedback and showing these as well. So this is doing exactly what I had hoped and thought it would do.